Welcome, welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. I'm excited to talk about local SEO. This is what we do all day, every day. So we're going to go through a couple key topics. This won't be an extremely long webinar. I know some of them are an hour or an hour and a half. That's too long in my mind. So I try and keep these more like 30 minutes, maybe 45. So hopefully that's enough time to get the content that we're trying to cover. So the things we're going to go through are our approach to digital marketing, number one. Number two, local SEO stats, kind of why you might want to be paying attention to this area right now. Our proven formula for what we've seen work with local SEO. Then we're going to go into some how-to DIY. So what can you do to kind of take some actions away to make some improvements? And then some complementary tools that we have available that we're happy to offer. And then we'll wrap up with some questions and answers or anything else that might be left unattended at that point. So let me go through. So I will do my best to make this energetic and informative and make it a good use of your time. As I said, I have 60 to 90 minutes here, but that is not my style. I would suggest kind of focusing on this so we can kind of get through it. I don't know about you, but if I take too much time multitasking, I don't quite get the content, I don't get the same value out of it. So certainly your call, it's your time. This is for you to watch or not as you see fit. But again, would recommend putting some attention into this to get the most out of it. So who am I and why listen to me? So my name is Jake Marsh. I'm the founder here at Design Build Marketing. We do digital marketing for builders and remodelers. I do think there were some attendees who aren't in the construction space, aren't builders and remodelers. So certainly fine. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here as well. If you're not a builder or remodeler, that doesn't mean this won't apply to you. The one thing that I would say is this is local SEO. So if you own a business that is national or global, certainly a little different model, actually quite a bit of a difference between the two. So it may not be as applicable, but certainly ask some questions and we can kind of cover anything we need to with regards to traditional SEO, which is not local versus what we'll cover today with local SEO. So I have a few case studies here. It's great to hear me say I do this all every day, but what kind of results do we see? I have some case studies here, some excerpts, if you will. These are SEO case studies. So SEO, this is more of a traditional model. I will say this is, kind of that 6 to 9 month time frame is when we start to really see results from our efforts. And then it kind of continues to go 20 to 40% growth year over year is normally what we see. Local SEO, we're kind of shortening that timeline. We're going to go into some of that today. Local SEO, fortunately, is actually a little bit easier than we've seen in the past. So with traditional SEO. So we have a couple here. That is, conversions and organic traffic. This one we have phone calls and website visits. So some significant jumps in those. And then at the end here, we have organic traffic and phone calls. Again, similar timeline. This, again, is being kind of condensed into shorter periods. All right, so then let's go into our approach to local SEO, or I should say digital marketing in general, local SEO being a part of that. Our goal with our clients is to really have a digital omnipresence approach to marketing. And what we mean by that is we really want your marketplace to see you in a variety of different places and saying a variety of different things, whether that's videos on social media, whether that's blog articles on your website, whether that's your reviews. All of those things kind of go into a well-rounded online presence. So we do our best to touch all of the bases here, reputation management being online reviews, marketing automations, referral resell, organic social media, so on and so forth. So these are all managed with a slightly different kind of focus. So paid ads are different than social media, which is different than SEO. So they all have their place, but the goal is to, again, provide as many touch points as we can with your market to position you as the authority in your space. And then when it comes to the kind of that accelerated growth plan, we break that down into kind of 3 categories or groups. We want to drive leads, we want to maximize conversion, and then we want to continue to optimize results. Most people focus on drive leads, very important, but there are some other very important considerations when we do start driving leads. So the ways that we drive leads are around organic SEO, which would be traditional SEO, and local SEO. We'll touch on those differences today. Paid ads, which could be traditionally Facebook or Google pay-per-click, Google local service, TikTok, all of those platforms are or either have their strengths. Our preference right now is around the Meta platform, so Facebook and Instagram, as well as Google Local Service. Those are where we are seeing the best results. And we have some other content on that and some other webinars coming up for paid ads, but it's kind of a quick highlight on that. And then the third place is database. So with organic SEO and paid ads, organic SEO takes some time. Paid ads is very quick, but we're going to find new prospects, new clients, which takes time and money. The nice thing about your database is most people kind of don't realize they're sitting on a gold mine. That database can be used for a couple things. First and foremost, referrals and resell opportunities. And in design, build, and construction, a lot of times if they do a whole home remodel, they may not need another one for quite some time. But they do have referrals. They have other people, friends and family, who need services for their remodels. So we want to make sure we have a referral program in place. We want to make sure we're going back to dead leads and trying to see if they are still in the market. We often find they don't make a decision. They say they're going to go with another vendor. They never do. So we reach out to them. We want to load that contact list into our CRM and provide some automations to reach back out to those people. So again, you're sitting on a list of contacts, a variety of different contacts that are typically going to provide value, whether that's referral, resell, past leads that died off, or even reviews. We also go back to past customers and request reviews from them. So a lot of things that we can do to drive leads. And then it's great to drive a bunch of leads, but if we can't convert those, that's time and money and energy that is wasted. So it's very important in our mind. We approach digital marketing kind of in a comprehensive way. So we want to make sure that when leads are coming in, we have a website that converts them. We have the information and the speed. And then we also have enough reviews to put people's mind at ease that they can trust you to do good business. And then we want automation in place so that when they do make contacts, we're getting a response out very quickly, and we're continuing to follow up over a long term because the majority aren't quite ready yet. And so we want to make sure we're staying in touch with those people and not letting them fall through the cracks. Amazing what some small changes can do in terms of maximizing your conversions to really impact your bottom line. Again, some other content that we have available on this as well. So optimizing results, this is probably pretty standard, but a lot of people don't kind of get into the results. They don't look at how things are performing. They know, of course, whether they're generating leads or not, but how much are they spending? How much is each lead? How many are converting? Which sources are creating the best results in terms of the best quality clients as well as the highest conversion rates? Those things are all very important to make sure that we're dialed in and putting money and time into the places that are giving you the best ROI. So we pay attention to all of those things to make sure that we're fully optimized. So local SEO stats. I'm not sure about you, but most people I talk with are kind of in this category. They are buried with work. They have way too much going on. If it's a builder and remodeler, they have too many jobs. They have a lot of projects they're overseeing, as well as the administrative kind of aspect of the business. That is why they usually call on us, is because they need help with that. But why should you care about local SEO? And we'll go into that quickly. So the way I have on the right-hand side here, I have a view of the Google search results these days. So this is a new view, or over time it has progressed or evolved. We used to just see jakemarsh.com, bobshandyman.com. It just used to be a list of websites, right? Over time that's evolved. We are now seeing kind of the Google guaranteed at the top. We are seeing the map pack and then one sponsored ad in between there. Again, this varies depending on the market. Sometimes there's not local service, etc. But in general, this is the progression, what we have seen. The significant jump that we're seeing is 9%, almost 10% of the clicks are going to Google Local Service. And then 48%, almost half, is going to the map pack. Now, that is a significant swing from what we used to see. So there are some advantages and there are some reasons around this, but this is local SEO. And so this is why I say it's important, if you're not doing local business, to kind of keep this in mind, because you're not going to have a geographic component to your search, right? You're not going to be anchored to a location. But if I look for a home builder near me, it's going to look something at my address or near where I am if it's tracking my location. So over almost 60% of results are going to these kind of map sections. These are both kind of related to your Google business profile. And so very critical to kind of be active, be paying attention to this. And the good news is these are easier to land in than the traditional kind of search results where you just have the link to the website. So the reason people are clicking here, so if we dig into the data, reviews are prominent. When you used to have a website address up there, you couldn't see reviews. Now with 10 best home improvement contractors, I can. This says the Thumbtack rating here. So there's some reviews that are displayed, but traditional results are not going to display that typically. With the Google Local Service and with the map pack, we can see very clearly what the reviews are, how many they have. Very important that reviews are shown there. Google Guaranteed. So this is sometimes how long they've been in business, right? Those things are all very clear and visible. So that's a much different view that consumers have. So again, this is one of the things we'll touch on here in a little bit, but with the results page, when there are local service ads, that is one of the big reasons people will click there, is because of the badge. Then page position. The fourth one here is pay-per-lead is really one of the reasons you might want to consider local service, is because it's a pay-per-lead model. Traditionally, we pay for exposure, and then we get a certain number of clicks based on how interesting our ad is to the viewers that we get put in front of. With pay-per-lead, you only pay when they call or when they message you. So great position. Shows your reviews. You have a Google Guaranteed badge, which what could be better than that? And you're only being charged when they actually contact you. So great platform. We've been seeing some really good results for that. And now the reason for clicks when there is the map pack, so this would be in kind of survey when people didn't have that local service ad section at the top. Some markets, they don't have vendors to display that, so it's not always visible. Same thing, reviews are prominent. That's a significant factor. Overwhelmingly the driving factor. Page or map position, so we're kind of, it's still placed up pretty high, and then the map kind of shows where they are, usually kind of geographically close as well. And then organic result, people do kind of will actually state, me included, I oftentimes won't click on an ad. So the fact that it's an organic result as opposed to a paid sponsored position, that is a reason why I would oftentimes click there, is because it's not paid. So that is showing you the reason for the clicks and all of the traffic, right? So significant volume, some things here that we can kind of be in control of with regards to the number of reviews. So this is, again, very important place to be these days in terms of organic SEO. Some things that might be limiting you or the business in terms of your rankings would be an incomplete Google Business Profile. And we're going to touch on all of these in the next slides. Lack of reviews, significant one. Inconsistent info and website content. So we'll go into each of these a little bit more detailed. First, I'll touch on our proven formula for how to approach local SEO and get our clients ranked. And then we'll go into, remember, the kind of DIY aspects, what you can do, without a professional to get some of these results. So our proven formula, first and foremost, claim and optimize your profile. Google Business Profile is different than a Maps listing. It's different than your website. It is important to claim and optimize so that you are clearly communicating what you do and where you do it. Customer reviews, overwhelmingly the biggest factor today. So if you can only do one thing, that would be it. We'll go into kind of the details there. Name, address, and phone number, not as important as it used to be, but still very, important in that if you have one name and address somewhere and then a different name and address somewhere else, it just starts to kind of create some questions about the business. Are they still in business? Which address are they at? Google does not like inconsistency. We as consumers oftentimes don't either. So therefore, Google is going to kind of have some of the same response. So we want to make sure everything is consistent. Again, we'll go into how to do that. And then on-page SEO. So on-page SEO just means the aspects of your website pages or page that you're kind of directing to from your Google profile. We'll go into kind of what is important there to make sure that you're doing so that your website is aligned with your Google Business Profile. So when it comes to claiming and optimizing your profile, this is really your foundation, right? Everything is centered around your Google Business Profile that has your address, that has your services, that has your hours of operation, all of the things about your business. You're basically telling Google, this is me. This is our business. It is different than a Google Maps listing. They will look similar, but when you are showing up in a search results, they are going to be much different. The Google Business Profile is going to be a better position, a better kind of a display. So want to make sure that you have profile in place. Want to make sure that it's optimized, website and social media links on there. Those didn't used to be available. We want your physical address. Important to kind of have a geographic anchor. Some of my peers won't actually take a client if they won't put their display their address on their Google Business Profile. They feel it's that important. Not quite of that same mindset, but it is very important to have an address on Google Business Profile. make sure there are photos. We want kind of a nice mix of photos. Ideally, this is a place where people are going to get to know you and kind of you in the business. So team photos, pictures of the office, of course, pictures of your work. We can put logos up there. All of those things are going to help the consumer kind of get to know you and have, again, better level of trust and understanding in the business. Services and hours of operation. Services, of course, is very, very important. We want to make sure that we're telling Google exactly what we do and what we don't do, especially if you're paying them for ads. You don't want to have roofing if you don't do roofing. You're going to be paying for leads that are searching for roofing. So again, very important that we make sure that we have the right services listed on the profile. Once this is in place, it is also important to come back. So ongoing tasks. We want to make sure we're updating photos. Again, kind of the company, team, clients, could be before and after. There are a lot of things that we can do. We can replace some old photos if it's a new office or something, or new team members, but oftentimes we can just add photos. Posting is similar to social media posting. Google calls it an update. So you post an update on there. That kind of sends Google signals that you're active, that you're in the marketplace, and that you're kind of, taking care of your clients and providing information. Responding to reviews, important to get reviews, also very important to respond to them, and then answering questions. So it's kind of an FAQ section. It's a Q&A section. So you'll probably see this on Amazon and other places where people can ask questions and the seller will provide a response. You can also have those asked intentionally, like I could go ask them on your profile in order to provide an answer. That kind of becomes a good way to list your FAQs. So when someone looks at profile, they'll kind of see those questions there and have them answered without having to ask on their own. So these are some things you can do ongoing to make sure that you stay current. The one you won't see on here is reviews. That's because it has its own category. This is the single biggest factor today that you can do to get ranked on Google, is to accumulate as many reviews as possible. I mean, we all look for reviews. There are all sorts of stats around the number of people that are looking online, the number of views they expect, on and on. But it's very easy to kind of get lost and kind of distracted, right? We do business with them and we pay to get them on board. It's very easy once they finish doing business to move on to the next clients. We're all so busy. But it is important to have a process in place to ensure long-term success. Otherwise, it's sporadic. You likely will miss people. People would have given you a review if you just asked. That structured process is going to kind of ensure that you have an ongoing steady flow of reviews. If you could get one review every week for a year, it's not that many. That's 50. That's a critical threshold. But Google would love to see that consistent activity. And what better way to tell Google what kind of a job you're doing than have your customers give you 5 stars, right? That's what Google wants to know. They want to know before they put you in front of any other viewer that you're going to do a good job and take care of your customers. And again, what better way to do that than simply have them give you reviews? So the review quantity is important. 50 and 100 are a couple critical thresholds. It's kind of hard in our space in building and remodeling, but certainly still within reach. So we can do that. Review score is also important. It is not important to be perfect, however. 4.6 to 4.8 is really the sweet spot. You have all 5 stars. Sometimes people kind of question that, whether that is legitimate or whether that might be kind of some manufactured reviews. So not important to be perfect. Again, 4.6 to 4.8 is perfectly acceptable. That's kind of the sweet spot. And velocity and frequency. So if you had a chance to get 50 reviews on one day and then nothing for the rest of the year, or 1 per week for 52 weeks, I would suggest the 52 weeks. We want to maintain that activity because Google is going to see that as consistency. They're going to continue to prioritize you over that period of time and see you as kind of an ongoing authority and strong provider in the space. Responding to reviews, we mentioned, important to get back to people, not just positive reviews, negative reviews also. It gives you a chance to kind of respond and answer and kind of show professionalism, even if it's just to acknowledge, thank them for the feedback, but also, let them know if you have. Okay, so when it comes to reputation management and doing some of this on your own, we have processes in place. We work with our clients to optimize their profile. We actually take care of that for them, of course, with their photos and whatnot, but we update the profile. We take care of also the review process. So we have automations in place to go back to past clients, as well as very politely ask for new reviews from new clients. So we take care of that, but there are some really good software tools out there if you wanted to do this. Bird Eye is a big one in the marketplace. Podium provides some other things as well. Nice Job in Moment. These are all tools that you can kind of jump into and just plug in your clients as that time comes. One of the things that I didn't mention is the number of times that you want to request a review. Oftentimes we think that a customer will leave a review. I will say they will almost never leave a review if they're not asked. And then really we want to ask them 2 or 3 times. Now, very politely, there are tactful ways to do that. We don't want to just bombard them with requests, but we have a very strong process for that. So it is important. That's what these tools will do, is kind of provide a consistent follow-up to make sure that if they don't review on the first request, they may on the second or on the third. And our third touch is usually a very soft one. It's usually a, hey, we saw you didn't leave a review. We certainly still appreciate, you trusting us with your business, that kind of thing. So it's almost kind of a, thank you. It's okay that you didn't leave a review, but oftentimes that gets us a review. So that works with reputation management. Okay, name, address, and phone number used to be much more important than it is today. But for people in my generation, that's kind of like the yellow pages. We used to have those big fat books, and now there are a bunch of online versions. So we want to get the name, address, and phone number for your business published in as many of these as possible. So as many different yellow pages as we can. And these are all they're called citations, but they're all basically records that are telling Google, this is who you are, this is where you are located, and this is your contact information. So those citations are helpful, but the biggest thing we see is consistent information. If we are seeing information that has one address that may have been your address from 2 years ago and one directory that hasn't been updated, but all of the other directories are showing your new address, that creates a little bit of a question mark in Google's mind, and really in a consumer's mind as well. Are you still in business? Which address are you at? Are you just kind of not keeping all of the records tidy, which is also, again, just a small thing, but it does add up. So this is something that is still part of the equation or part of the puzzle. And it does change. So we will find that people are not keeping up on these. There can be requests submitted to Google to change hours, to change a phone number, to change an address. So as a consumer, I can request that. It does not require you to do so. So it is important to kind of go back and make sure you're verifying these over time, because they will become dated and out of. So this reminds me of one of the airline maps, like Continental. I don't know, I think you used to do that, but these are all of the directories that this is a good sample set of the online directories. So a lot of these you're probably familiar with. There are some very important ones, and then each industry is going to have different niche directories, right? So there are some that are more applicable for builders. There are some, like BuildZoom is one that's more specific to builders and remodelers. For other industries, there are other niche type directories that it can be helpful to get published in. So when it comes to managing these, you can go update your address on your Google business profile. You can go to Bing. You can make these requests to own those profiles and update that information directly. You can also go and have services do that for you. So BrightLocal, Moz, Whitespark, Yext are all tools that will take your address and publish it out to all of these different locations. One thing to keep in mind, there are 2 different models here. So if you sign up for Yext, they will publish you on, I don't know how many, I think 100 or some directories, as well as they can put you onto wholesale directory type models. But when you stop service with Yext, those directories all come back. They take all of that data back. They kind of manage it ongoing, so it's always current, always updated, which is very helpful. But again, when you stop, that data is gone. Whitespark, on the other hand, is kind of the opposite of that. Whitespark will submit those directories. They kind of do it manually. Now, they don't go back and check. They don't go back and monitor those ongoing, but when you do kind of a one-time service with them, they go publish those listings out there, and then they're kind of done. So they don't change, or they don't kind of take them down. So there are 2 different models, so to be aware of. Very important distinction, because if you invest in Yext, there are some benefits, but there is a big downside as well. It's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so on-page SEO. This is something that, this one's a little bit harder kind of managed from a DIY perspective. This is really kind of content alignment. We are telling Google on the profile the services that we offer. We have, kind of some of that key information. We want the content on our website to be aligned with that. If we have, some companies I work with have a broad range of services. And so they may have a Google business profile that has, contracting and remodeling, but their homepage may be kind of a roofing company. I mean, they have kind of a subsection that is for remodeling. That kind of creates some conflict, because Google's not really sure. And again, if there's any question about, kind of what you do, or anything about your kind of ability to do what you are supposed to be doing, Google's not going to display you. They're going to have a question about that. It can cause a problem. So keywords, the cities, the services, all of those things on your website should kind of match what you have with Google. So content and user experience is what we talked about. Important to have a fast loading website and valuable content. The services and cities we talked about. Some technical aspects here, the title of your page, the H1 tag, which is your primary header, the very top, the meta description. Those should all be aligned with your primary kind of keywords. So we want those to be aligned. And then blogs and syndications. So blogs are kind of ongoing content that kind of helps establish you as an authority. So if you have kitchen remodels as a service on your website, that's kind of all the content that you would put on that service page. However, you can do 4, 5, 6, 8 blogs over the next 6 months or a year that talk about specific tile that can go into a kitchen remodel, or specific flooring that is being used, kind of a trendy flooring that is being used in kitchen remodels. So we call that a cluster or a silo. So we're going to provide more specific and unique content in those blogs that all aligns to a cluster or silo, in this case that we're describing as a kitchen remodel. So that's how blogs can be used. And then syndication will be press releases. There are some ways that you can kind of have press releases pushed out. I won't go into all of the technical details on why that's valuable, but that can also help with rankings. Okay, so that covers the main bulk of the content that we had to cover today. So I'll go through a couple of the complementary resources that we talked about, go through these, and then happy to answer any additional questions that come up along the way as well. But the 3 things that we have available today: Ultimate Marketing Checklist, Contractor Marketing ebook, and then a full marketing audit. These are available to you. This is builder and remodeler specific. Again, I think there are some people maybe that at least registered that aren't builders and remodelers. This is still applicable. There are going to be some things that are a little more unique to builders and remodelers, but still general enough that you'll get value from it. So this is something that you have access to. We can get you the link to that. It is here on the bottom as well. Builder Marketing ebook. This is also tailored to builder and remodeler type of businesses. However, the concepts are all very straightforward or very consistent across industries. So still valuable content in terms of how we approach our marketing system. So you saw the omnipresence marketing that was in here. From a business kind of language perspective, we talk about reputation, resell, reach, and retarget. So there are just kind of a less marketing technobabble way of communicating kind of our marketing strategy. So great ebook with some good guidelines in there and things to help. And then marketing audit. So we can run a full marketing audit. This is going to be me grabbing your website, your social media profiles, looking at your competitors in your local market, looking at those profiles and your past history on social media. We will do an audit of all of those online citations. So we'll identify if you have a gap in some of those business, kind of name, address, phone number locations. So we walk through all of that information. It is complimentary. It does take, an hour or two, but it is valuable information. So an hour or two for me to prepare, usually takes 45 minutes or so to go through together. No obligation for that. If you're interested in that, happy to do so. And you would walk away with some good reports on things you can do, or if you're working with a marketer already, maybe identify some things that they could be doing that they're maybe not currently. All right, so that covers what we're talking about today. I appreciate everybody jumping on today. Thanks for attending. Hopefully you found the information valuable. Again, this is something we do every day. If this is interesting to have kind of done for you, happy to talk with you. We do provide a lot of content out there on kind of how to do some of these things on your own. Not everybody wants to pay for the service. Not everyone's ready to pay for a service yet. So we do provide a lot of content to kind of help share the best practices that we've learned. So if you have any questions outside of this webinar, by all means, shoot an email over. Happy to provide some information or share content that might be helpful. Thanks again for attending. Enjoy your afternoon.